What's up, everyone? Surprise, surprise, surprise. It's Sunday night or Monday afternoon if you're in New Zealand. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Welcome to this edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. Thought about doing this, and I put it off because I wanted to get your thoughts on some comments from Rafael Stone, Rockets GM, as well as Ime Udoka, Rockets head coach, that they made at their end of season wrap up to the media. But I wanted to focus on the comments specifically to get you guys' thoughts on it. If it's a sign of what they're going to do this summer, if it's just coach speak, if it's just GM speak, or just food for thought conversation, let me know in the comments here as you are watching on YouTube via the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. The draft combine is over. There is some chatter that the Rockets, rumors, draft chatter. Bobby, how are you doing? Get this out of the way. Bobby's a UH alum, a UH supporter, what have you. Milo Suzanne did not shoot the ball well at the combine. Combined to go 3 for 12 in the 2 games, 5-on-5. So I don't know if that's going to hurt or help him and lessen the chances of a team giving him a guaranteed contract in the second round. We'll see. If he doesn't get that second round guarantee, he said, and his dad said, he's going to come back to Houston and be a Coug for 1 more year. We shall see. I think he should come back, but if he does get a guarantee, he should stay in the draft. Or he will stay in the draft. Okay, first things first. Comments from Rafael Stone, and both of these are centered around Rafael's comments and Ime's comments are centered around Jalen Green. Jalen Green's performance in the first round of the playoffs versus the Warriors. What Jalen did or didn't do well, what the Rockets should have done, or blah, 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 blah. But I want to get you, this is on my show, well, your show as well. Let's Talk Houston Rockets, because it's probably been discussed on other shows. But this show is different. This show is unique. So I want to get you guys' thoughts and comments on these words from Rafael Stone first, and then Ime Udoka about Jaylen Green.
Jaylen didn't have the series that he wanted to have, or we didn't. But I think it's a little bit of a double-edged sword in terms of trying to evaluate it, because their goal going into the series was to take him out, and that was obvious. And I think they talked about it. I didn't actually listen to what they said afterwards, but people told me what they said, so who knows? I think they talked about it. We're not a team built around any one player offensively, whether it's Jalen or Alperin or Amen or Fred. And so if your goal is to take out one of our players, in theory what should happen is that our other players should just punish it. And Ime frequently talks to the guys about inviting double teams, hit the guy, and you're the sacrificial lamb. And so in some games we punished it, in some games we didn't. In one of the games, we ended up with great spacing, and we were able to punish it with him. That's maybe unsustainable, but yeah, I would just say that for all of our guys, we want them to learn and everything else, but it's not, one playoff series doesn't define a player. But also I think in particular with him and that, yeah, if a team's going after you like that, they're going after you like that, and then it's a team game for a reason. And I'm confident that if we want to take any one player out, we can and will on any team in the NBA. And so it's just the repercussions of that impact the winning or losing. That's how I think about it.
Thoughts on that? I think y'all know me long enough, watch this show, being a part of the conversations. You kind of learned my thoughts on those words from Rafael Stone. You see, is this AI? See AI's thoughts on it already. But just hold your thoughts until I play the clip from Ime, followed up right after Rafael's words. Tony, thank you very much for watching the show, participating in the conversation as well. Now, next, from Ime, Jerry, how are you doing? From New Zealand. Appreciate you watching as well. Okay, here's Ime. And his thoughts. This is right after Rafael Stone's words. I did a zoom in on Ime, so the camera is not as sharp, angle is not as sharp, but it's still right after Ime, right after Rafael said what he said about Jaylen. Here you go.
Compliment to him that teams will go after him to that extent, and you saw it throughout the season. He had some practice at it, and we got better at it. But the main thing is obviously getting the ball to the playmakers behind it and not turning it over. And at times he struggled with that early in the season, and he's really improved there. To Rafael's point, we made them pay at times, and then at times it worked in their favor. Vice versa with them when we took Curry out at times, and Peyton hurts us down the stretch, but a lot of other guys miss wide open shots, and we win those going away. And so the more practice and confidence you have with that, and him just being the decoy at times, like I mentioned. And so there are opportunities that you still will have with that, and the more stops we can get, the more we can play in transition to avoid those is good for him and good for us. But we went through some growing pains, no doubt. I think physically getting stronger to absorb contact on some of his drives when he has the advantage, or finishing at the rim when he does get the driving lane. All those things are things we talked about with him going into the offseason, and able to use him off ball a little bit more. And you got to get a little bit stronger as far as that, because they took him out of some of those actions where they couldn't trap. And so some areas for him to grow, obviously, some areas for us to use him a little bit better. But when he does face those, we have enough talent behind it, especially a really good passing big like Alpi that should punish that every night.
That should punish that every night. Yeah, in theory, I guess. Of course, keep in mind, Fred VanVleet said a month ago that the Rockets do not have a go-to guy that can win them a game, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. Fred said that. J-Mon, I'm not sure if you're just repeating the Rockets team motto for this past season and you are agreeing with it, or you're saying it as part of you being sarcastic. The all lives matter don't work in the playoffs. You need a go-to guy. Tony, I ain't trying to hear none of that from Stone or Ime. They got to be playing politics to keep morale up. J-Mon, do you think the lack of offensive prowess at times is an Ime Udoka coaching problem or a player talent problem? I see a lot of people say Ime needs an offensive coordinator. I think he has to share some of the blame. Ime's head coach. But it's also on the players to figure stuff out too when you're on the court. I believe that as well. Space Age says, I'm becoming a fan of Hanson Yang. Would love for him to be a Rocket. How are you doing as well? What? To play when, Space Age? I ask you. Down the line? Not immediately? United, how are you? Rockets fan, 40 years, and we'll say we're never going to be a champion. Well, again, you mean champion again. Because he won 94-95, despite what some media say and Bulls fans say, those championships still count. Bobby agrees with Fred. They need a go-to guy on offense because they don't have enough firepower on offense the way they are now. I'm going to put this on the screen, just a tidbit. Right here. This is a little tidbit from, I think Rich Cram is his name, from the Combine, just completed in Chicago. Chatter at the Combine points to Houston picking 10th, Portland at 11, and the Spurs again at 14 as teams willing to shop picks in the back half of the lottery for win now upgrades. Houston, of course, just took the West's number 2 seed and already has too many young, promising players to fit into its rotation, meaning it might not be incentivized to add another. The Trailblazers, blah, 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 who cares? But back at what he said about the Rockets. Houston, of course, just took the West's number 2 seed and already has too many young, promising players to fit into its rotation, meaning it might not be incentivized to add another. Back to the top of it, chatter at the combine points to Houston is willing to shop picks in the back half of the lottery for win now upgrades. What do y'all think about that? Terry says that's why they're going to draft Igor Dimon. He had a great combine. He's gotten better since he looked like trash against the Cougars of Houston twice this season. Space Age says big fella Hang shoots better than the Rockets' big men. Is that what they need, though? Bronson, how are you doing? Thank you for your comment. Keep them coming. Ime playing long game, defensive system first, offensive system next season. You believe that? Do you believe that? June says Ime sucks on offense, so trade Jaylen Green because Ime don't trust him, only Fred. See, this is where J-Mon's coming right here. That's why it says this is on Jaylen more than anything. They blitzed Steph during the playoffs, and he still found a way to drop at least 30. The difference between a star and a role player. Same thing the Warriors did with Ant in the second round. They ran defense at him. They blitzed him. He passed out of it, made him give up the ball, things like that. He still found a way to get his points. The difference between a star and not a star. I think Jaylen Green's a little bit more than a role player, but he's not a star. We all agree on that. Yeah, I understand you're waiting. You're tired of waiting. It's been a long time since the Rockets' last championship. Clearly, yeah. Terry says rookie contracts can't hurt, though. True. But if you're not going to play him, you need to trade him to get somebody who's going to play. J-Mom being consistent, thinks we should use the pick so we can get a good player on a cheap contract. We should trade Jabari since he's nearing an extension. I wouldn't give up on Jabari just yet. But anyway, we shall see. Space Age, starting to think we don't like big men who can pass and shoot. We get big men who can't shoot. Irks him something serious. Tony agrees with J-Mon. Not too complicated. If the Rockets trade Şengün, they should keep the 10th pick to acquire Derek Queen. Trade, well, complicated. Trade Şengün for who? Who are they going to get back in that trade? Space Age believes Rockets need bigs or wings. Rockets need perimeter shooters. All right. Had to try and undo all the bad habits on defense. So Bronson believes offense is next. All right. You're the minority on that thought. I mean, your rationale is in the minority. Offense, everybody agrees offense needs to be improved. Derek, how are you? Derek is one of those Ime needs an OC to operate the offense. Ime seems like he is the defensive coordinator. Rob says if they trade Jabari, he's storming Toyota Center. Tony with we barely get big man. Rockets will start a 6'6" center. Makes him sick. United trade only Jaylen Green. and get shooters or score like Durant. But Solo, how are you doing? I believe this more and more. I still believe this. The Rockets are going to run it back until they see that it's not working. And then once they do that, then they'll make a change or two. That's what I believe right now. Or my crutch, unless a star player says, a superstar player says, I want to be a Houston Rocket. They say that this summer. If that happens, then they make a trade this summer. Paquito, how are you? Hopes we keep our young core and develop them. Let them play one more season and see what happens. Jamon doesn't think it's smart to extend Jabari. He hasn't really shown much in 3 years to demonstrate he's worth the three. Well, I would just say he hasn't shown much to show he's worth a lot of money. Rockets missed him when he was out injury. His absence was felt. So whether that as a first pick, second pick, third pick, whatever, but they missed him when he wasn't in the games. They missed him. June with, do you trade Jabari, Cam, Reed, and Jalen for Durant and Booker? One of those two, not both of them. Not for all three of those salaries. Bobby, agree the rookie can't play, trade the pick. There is no room for playing time for a draft pick on this team as currently constructed. Not too complicated. Rockets would have to put Şengün in the Giannis trade. So that's what you're saying. That's what you want them to do. Is LP for Giannis and LP and some others for Giannis. Rob, we need to trade Brooks, so Ime is forced to give Jabari 30-plus minutes. Jamon does not believe a superstar will say he wants to be a Rocket other than James Harden. Space Age also wants Dylan Brooks traded. Solo believes thinks Reed will have a breakout. Really? As a Rocket? Terry says this. A lot of other teams are high on Jabari. No. Paquito, no, you cannot. James made 30-something million this year. He's not taking a pay cut to be cheap. No. And Rockets will not have him back. No. Yeah, I'm a Solo. At Harden, ship has sailed. Yeah, agree. Yeah. No. Deverick states, keep the young core together and get some quality veterans to bring better leadership. Like who? Jamon would like to keep Brooks. He's done well here, setting the culture, and he often picks up the offensive slack when others are cold. To the last two games of the first round, he was Rockets' best shooter consistently. But back to the comments from Rafael and Ime. When you first heard it on, was it May 6th or tonight? What do you think? BS? You think they're smoking something? Do you agree with what they said? Or is it just fluff? Or what? What do you think? All right, let's see. Rob, with this one, I like Brooks too, but Ime refuses to bring him off the bench. Maybe that'll change. Ime, he said that he'll use offseason to talk to his staff and learn what they could do better as a group and him as a head coach, maybe he'll grow and make some adjustments to the offense. He said that. We'll see if he does that. Nick Edwards, fair. Thinks Giannis will not want to be in Houston if Sengun is part of the trade. Well, Chris Haynes said Giannis and the Bucks will talk later this week and get that ball rolling. See if they're on the same page with what's best for both sides and go from there. So they have a sit down later this week. Giannis might say in that conversation, I love it here. Family raised here, all that kind of stuff. I love it here. But unless y'all can convince me you're going to add to the roster and we're going to be a legit title threat next year, I want to go somewhere else. Giannis might say, he might change his mind because he said on his brother's podcast and other places that he wants to win more than one championship. He has to see that's not happening in Milwaukee, barring some drastic, unforeseen changes and some luck and some health. He's not winning another chip in Milwaukee. Tony was asking this question. Realistically, how much of a jump can Jaylen make? Saw no fight. He's not that dude. He's not a dog. How do y'all believe that? Jamon Stone is a salesman. Agree. He's not going to say all the stuff. He will not put all of his cards on the table publicly. No doubt. But do you believe that Stone will hold on to Jaylen because of where he selected Jaylen in the draft? And some ego is involved. No, I want to keep Jaylen because I still believe that light's going to come on, and I want him to do that light to come on here with the Rockets because I drafted him at 2. Solo believes Stone set up the value a little. If we trade for Giannis, then he's going to make us sign his brother. He'll be the 15th man. Okay. What's wrong with that? Jamon, as much as I don't think Jaylen is a franchise guy, we shouldn't sell low. We should bring him back, but add a veteran guard, example, Colin Sexton, to compete for his role. Maybe that will motivate him. Wow. Granted, we touched on in previous shows, Jaylen was just, he underwhelmed and underachieved so much in the first round. He did not help the Rockets get any leverage. So as Jamon said, right now, it would be selling low because he didn't play well in the first round. Being the decoy. He was more than a decoy. A lot of games, he took himself out of those games. He wasn't aggressive at all. And not a question of wasn't aggressive enough. He wasn't aggressive at all. Can't have that. If you want to be that guy, you got to bring it. Doesn't matter what the defense is tossing at you, you got to figure it out. So Solo says Stone treats Jaylen like a son. Can't be personal when you're trying to win chip. Jamon Stone wants to keep his job as GM, so he will drop Jaylen if there's a better option. There have been Jaylen trade rumors for the past 2 years. Bobby says the comments make him think they will run it back. He believes egos are a lot of the decision-making process going on with the Rockets. I think that's part of it. Tony, honest here. Houston fans probably really jaded. Personally, it hit him a little more to wait all these years to get knocked out in the first round by the Golden State Warriors. Again. Anybody but the Warriors. James Harden says Jaylen is so much a raw talent, even though he's been in the league for 4 seasons. I think he's seen how many holes he had in his game. He believes he'll work hard this offseason. Not too complicated. Jaylen should be the highest paid 6th man next year. All right, complicated. And who will be starting in his place? Solo with this. Hey, at least the Warriors got eliminated too. Jamon, there's no shame in losing to the Warriors. Curry is an all-time great. We softened them up for the Timberwolves to take advantage. Any of y'all believe that? Any of y'all agree with that? That the Rockets softened up the Warriors? Won't get into it too much, but I admire Steve Kerr. We believe that we could have won a chip this year and have a great chance next year. Okay, Steve, it's nice. It is nice. Nice you say that. Yeah. Derek, Golden State didn't choke. Steph got hurt and missed 3 games. The last 4 games, whatever it was. Oh wow, Complicated says this: the Rockets' next draft pick should be Jaylen's replacement. Wow. Space Age is done with Jaylen. Believe his mindset just isn't there. Buddy Hield and Piles were nowhere to be found against the Wolves, but of course they cooked the Rockets. Different defenses a little bit, part of it. Obese agrees that the Rockets did soften up the Warriors. You want to get Elijah Arenas? You looking to next year's draft. No shame in the Rockets losing to the Warriors. Let's say there's shame in it, but y'all as Rocket fans are frustrated to be eliminated again by the Warriors. So, hey. Mo Beasley likes Kasparis Jakuchonis from Illinois at 10. Oh, Derek, yeah, I agree. They showed, the longer they play, the older they're going to look. That's why I don't believe they're going to do anything next year. It's nice to build around, to have a dream and build around a 37, 36, 36-year-old and believe you're going to win a chip. No. Complicated. Why are you stating this? Why are you asking this question? Milos has until, May 28th, the deadline for U.S. college players to announce they're going back to school. So he's going to use it all up until that date, most likely. Again, he did not shoot the ball well in the 5-on-5 in Chicago at the Combine. He did have, I think he had 10 assists total in those 2 games. Only scored 9 points. Only made 3 of 12 shots in the 5-on-5. He shot better in the drills. But Milos is a 6'4" guard, point guard, long arms, decent athlete. Not a great leaper based on the results. But a team could choose to take him in the second round on a cheap contract and put him in their franchise organization and say, we got him cheap. They could believe that. If they, in their minds, think we can work with him and make him better and he'll help us in 2 years if you get him right now. That could be what it is. as we touched on the previous show, I believe, and I think many of y'all do as well, Con Knipple would be the best fit for the Rockets. All right, let's stop right there. And I'll get to the comments momentarily. Would y'all want the Rockets to move up from 10 to, let's say, 6 or 7 to draft Con Knipple? If all the chatter is he will not be available at 10, how many of you guys would want the Rockets to move up? So I'd be trading some picks, trading a player and a pick, combo, whatever, to move up a few slots to draft Con Knipple. Young fella Carter, his game's more raw than others. Kasparis, and it might be even more than Igor. Jamon does not want the Rockets to panic. I don't believe they're going to. But one of my long-held beliefs, if Tillman says he wants Giannis, whether he's in Italy on ambassador duty or not, Tillman going to try to get Giannis. I think he's changed from that mentality, but Complicated believes Rockets should move up for Con. WK says depends on what you have to give up. Probably not a lot. Rockets got a lot of picks, got a lot of youngsters who don't play, so shouldn't be a lot. Bobby says yes. Mike Will, is this your fingers crossed? You're saying that as well? You would like them to move up within reason? Like I said, not move up to 2 or 3. That's going to take a lot more. But, 6, 7. Solo believes the Rockets should trade down and then draft Mr. Murray Boyles or Carter Bryant. Going another way. I haven't heard anyone say Con is the absolute goods. You may not. But especially now, you might come after his workout. Well, he didn't do anything. Well, one reason you haven't heard anything is he did not participate in 5-on-5 because he's still recovering from an ankle injury. So that's one factor right there. Now, once he's 100%, he may have great workouts. And then if he does, then that chatter will change. Can Con play defense? Yes. A lot better than people think. Yes. Complicated believes Carter Bryant looks like a potential bust. There's just so much. All these freshmen got holes in their game. It's just all based on potential. All of them. Carter Bryant averaged 6 points a game in Arizona. Igor Demon looked lost. Just looked overmatched against the Houston Cougars. Physicality. No hint of him being a lottery pick. None at all. But he got better toward the end of the season, played better tournament, looked good in the combine. Shot the ball well, combine. Obviously his pro day, the objective of a pro day is to make your client look good, to mask their weaknesses and showcase their strengths. So take that for what it's worth. Jamon Rasheed Fleming, trade down for him too. Okay, so now we have some of y'all would like the Rockets to move up to get Con Knipple. Solo and a few others would like the Rockets to trade down to probably get some more future assets and a pick like Fleming, Boyles, Carter Bryant. So in that case, Solo, with those guys, Fleming, Boyles, Carter Bryant, are you expecting them to do anything next season as a rookie? Are they going to play next year? How many of y'all want them to believe that 10th pick, we will crack the rotation? And I mean the rotation probably be 8-man, 8/9-man. Do y'all want the 10th pick? Or the Rockets' first round pick, be it 6 moving up, be it 15 moving down, or 20, whatever it is. Do y'all want that first round pick in next summer's draft to crack the rotation? Or do y'all want the Rockets to add a veteran and upgrade that way? Comment Malo out. I don't know. I mean, he's not a great athlete, but long arm, shot blocker with a surprisingly good, decent, improving perimeter game. You got a tall young fellow with a bright future. I can see him being a Spur. Man. So he would fall down to 14. Rockets shouldn't let that happen. No. Not too complicated. Starting to think scouts love men, bodies, physicality, specimens, physical specimens, that kind of stuff. Jamon believes Rockets should stay put at 10. For the Rockets, he got questions too. I mean, we're talking about freshmen. All of them got questions, question marks. They're inexperienced, they're turnover prone, they don't shoot well, they're not well coached, the level of competition wasn't great, they don't rebound well enough, they're not elite athletes, they don't, all kinds of stuff. Some guy named Andre, thank you for joining the show, participating in the conversation. Do I think Cooper Flag can put a franchise on his back? A bad one. Yeah. Yeah, a bad one. But he won't have to with Dallas for a few years. Mo Beasley believes Kasparov would crack the rotation because of need. And replace who? Type that in because I'm curious of your thoughts. Because, I mean, who's going to beat out? Will Jaylen Green be gone? I don't believe Fred's going anywhere. Will Reed be gone? Is Kasparov going to replace Aaron Holiday? Aaron might be gone. So you think about him? Tony, with this, the Rockets don't play the players they have. Games with this, traded it and players for Cam Johnson. Some guy named Andre believes the 10th pick is a waste, only good for trade bait. J-Mon believes the 10th pick should crack the rotation. That's the sweet spot of the draft where many stars have been taken. WK, only vets will crack the rotation next year. A rookie will be similar to Reed from playing time perspective. United, to be honest, this draft pick is nonsense for him. Complicated, Rockets could trade for KD and acquire a second-round pick for Caleb Love. I'm not sure Caleb Love will be drafted. That does not mean he won't be in the NBA, but he might not be drafted. Didn't shoot the ball well and all. Well, I mean, Caleb Love is hot and cold. He shoots you in, shoots you out. Jamon, depending on the position of the draft pick, could crack the rotation. If the Rockets take a forward, Rockets need to trade Jabari, either take a center, bye-bye Jock Landale. Bobby, Rockets need to go with a player, whether it be a vet or a pick that cracks the rotation. Otherwise, they need to push that asset into the future. Reed and Cam are already sitting. Oliver Robinson. I don't know if it is or not. It is for us. Ross hammers this home again. Trading Jabari would be one of the dumbest things this franchise has ever done if they do it. Time will tell. Time will tell. Who knows? All right. That'll do it. Just wanted to pick you guys' brains on Rafael's and Ime's comments about punishing teams for trapping Jalen Green. And if I thought that was GM speak or defending Jalen, or if that says more about Jalen not doing it because Ant-Man faced those same defenses and made Golden State pay. Just saying. WK, rookie guards don't make a difference in winning their first year 95% of the time. Kobe was great, but rode the bench his first year in the league. Yep. And toss up air balls, too, against Utah. More than one. Trade, Green, Jabari are not players for the Rockets. Mike Will, John Morant, Devin Booker, 3-way trade with Jalen Green and 3 first-round picks and a future second. Rob, Jabari consistently shows up in big games. Needs to work on his left hand dribbling. Got to tighten up his handles. Has a smooth jump shot. It's improved, gotten better. He's an elite defender, great rebounder, and is the youngest of the rotation guys. Well, we'll see. All right, that'll do it. I might do a show to Monday night. Take a look at the playoffs, the conference finals, East and West. If you want to join me there, here again on the Houston Roundball Review, give me your thoughts on those two matchups. Still basketball season. It's not over yet. You know, the Rockets are done. Detroit's been done, but the playoffs are still here. Complicated. June 1st they'll be on campus. So they might get here May 31st. I'm going to try to talk to one of those 4 young men beforehand. Talk to his dad. Talk to Isaiah Harwell's dad. See if I can interview him again before he steps on campus. But that'll do it. Like I said, if y'all want to join me Monday, probably do a show Monday. Talk some conference finals. Be here again on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Spread the word about this show. Spread the word about Let's Talk Houston Rockets. Tell friends about this show. We do things differently here on this show. Unlike my colleagues. Doesn't mean it's great, better, whatever. It's different. So I appreciate you taking your time to join me in the discussion. Don't be a stranger. Come again, because we're going to do it again soon. When I hear more Rocket info, I'll share that with you as well. But basketball here on the Houston Roundball Review. That's what I do. So wrapping it up, as I always do, since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.
Game over.